Over the past 3 decades, many U.S. states and cities have implemented programs to provide free, non-means-tested pre-kindergarten care and education. The case for Universal Pre-K, or UPK, emphasizes its educational benefits for children, as well as the expanded labor market opportunities for parents. But while several studies have evaluated the former, empirical evidence on the latter has been limited. This paper fills that gap and provides the first randomized evaluation of the effects of children's UPK enrollment on their parents' labor market outcomes. The focus is a large UPK program in New Haven, Connecticut, which provides public pre-K to 3- and 4-year-olds. These are extended day programs which offer a total of 10 hours of care per day, and while they are universal in that any child from New Haven and its surrounding suburbs can apply, they are often space-constrained and forced to allocate slots via lottery. The authors exploit this random variation to estimate the causal effect of UPK access on children and their parents. Their data link records of pre-K admissions lotteries from 2003 through 2022 to children's subsequent public school enrollment and achievement, and their parents' earnings and employment up to several years after their children leave kindergarten. The first key finding is that UPK has little effect on overall childcare enrollment. Nearly all UPK students substitute away from other pre-K programs rather than moving from no childcare at all. At the same time, UPK substantially increases the hours of childcare coverage. Because the New Haven program offers extended day coverage, parents whose children enroll in UPK get an average of 11.3 more hours of childcare per week. And despite these longer hours, UPK access reduces out-of-pocket childcare costs by $375 per month. The second set of results examines children's educational outcomes. These figures show there is little evidence that UPK affects academic performance or behavior in the medium run. From kindergarten all the way through 8th grade, there is little to no effect on test scores, attendance, or grade retention. This mirrors the findings of other randomized evaluations of UPK programs, and, it is worth noting, doesn't rule out positive effects in either the short or long run. But the paper's third and headline result is that UPK has substantial effects on parental earnings. Enrolling a child in UPK raises parent earnings by 21.7%, or nearly $5,500 per year, during the 1- or 2-year period when the child is in pre-kindergarten. These effects then persist for at least the following 6 years. Over this period, the average earnings effect is 20.9%, or roughly $6,500 per year. These gains arise from a combination of 2 factors. First is a modest increase in labor supply. UPK increases parents' labor force participation by 7% both during and after the pre-kindergarten years. More important, however, is a sizable reduction in the likelihood of career disruptions. UPK reduces the likelihood that parents experience career gaps or switch industries during the pre-K period, while increasing the chance that they hold a single high-earning job. These effects are large, with, for example, a 34% reduction in the share of individuals who switch industry, and they appear to be the primary driver of the long-run earnings effects. What are the implications for UPK as a public policy? To evaluate the program's costs and benefits, the authors calculate its marginal value of public funds. A program's MVPF is the ratio between the benefit it provides to its recipients and its net cost to the government, where this denominator incorporates upfront costs as well as any long-run effects on the government's budget. So, for example, if a policy increases its recipients' incomes in the long run, this leads to higher tax revenue for the government, which lowers the policy's net cost. Policies with higher MVPFs are more effective in the sense of providing greater benefit per dollar of government spending. In essence, they have greater bang for the buck. In the case of UPK, the program's per-pupil expenditure is $15,500 per child per year. Multiplied by the average 1.56 years for which each child is enrolled yields a gross cost to the government of $24,000 per child. The previous findings, however, point to several factors that offset this number. The fact that most UPK students substitute away from other publicly funded pre-K programs yields savings of $8,800, to which are added the increased tax revenues resulting from children's increased future earnings, and, most substantially, the increased tax revenues resulting from parents' increased earnings. This last factor further reduces the net cost by 90%, and, largely on the back of these earnings gains, the authors estimate an MVPF of 10.04. This implies that each dollar of spending on UPK generates over $10 in benefits. As a point of comparison, previous work has estimated that many labor market programs for adults, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit, have MVPFs close to 1. Note as well that without data on parents' earnings, an identical analysis of UPK would have yielded an MVPF of only 1.03. This underscores the degree to which measuring the effect on parents' outcomes is crucial to assessing these programs. Indeed, this paper argues that in cost-benefit terms, contemporary extended-day UPK programs may be best characterized as high-return, active labor market policies for adults. To read more on this topic, you can check out the paper's references to other related work. This includes other papers studying the labor market effects of U.S. UPK programs, those studying similar programs abroad, and research on UPK's educational effects.